Alright, for today's industry insight, we got a very interesting topic. As you may or may not know, PewDiePie got in trouble over the weekend, which that topic in of itself is a landmine I don't feel like stepping on just right now, and I'm sure most of you have already heard about it and have your thoughts on it. But for today's talk, I want to bring up what happened following that and what a developer did, and how this once again gets back to that very tricky topic of fair use in the game industry. So, following PewDiePie's live stream gaffe, I guess, the developer behind Firewatch, Campo Santo, released a statement saying that they are tired of supporting PewDiePie or letting their game be seen by him or basically get advertisements from him, and they are issuing a DMCA against the video that PewDiePie put up for Firewatch. This was basically their way of condemning what he said and saying that they are sick and tired of it. And this has basically threw an entirely different layer on top of this discussion. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, DMCA refers to, I think, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and it's basically the harshest penalty you can put on a YouTube channel. What happens is, if a channel gets 3 DMCA strikes within, I want to say 1 to 2 month period. I don't know it off the top of my head because thankfully I don't have one yet. Basically, the channel gets taken off, the videos are gone, and basically everything that was associated with that channel goes bye-bye. And whenever a company or an individual issues a DMCA strike, that is a very big deal and a very serious offense. Because if you want to fight it, the next step is basically going to be legislation, or you're going to be getting a lawyer to deal with things. And for the developer to issue a DMCA against PewDiePie, once again brings up that situation when it comes to fair use and video games. As we've said before, the relationship between YouTubers and streamers and game developers is a very murky one. Because there are no standards set, it means everyone is allowed to act differently. So you have people like Nintendo who basically say, you put up any videos of our games, you're not allowed to monetize it. You have indie developers who say, go nuts, feel free. And then there are different rules, in between that. As we talked about last time with the Persona 5 issue, and them saying that you couldn't stream past a specific date, or they threaten a DMCA strike. But where I want to talk about today, once again, is that line of what comes to fair use. And for those of you watching this, depending upon your own background, I'm sure we're going to get different comments below. Whether you are a consumer, a YouTuber slash streamer, or a game developer. And this is not an easy topic to talk about, because this can be the livelihood for a lot of people, not just on the game developer side, but of course for people whose channels are dependent on Let's Plays and streams. But to recap, whenever we talk about fair use, this is the defense that content creators have whenever they are using elements of someone else's work in their own production. Again, be it a video game, art, you name it. And the major defense when it comes to fair use is it transformative? What that means is, am I taking something that you did and making it my own? This can be everything from, let's say, taking car and scrapping it and taking all the parts and turning it into something else. Or for video games case, of course, the Let's Plays. The fact that it's not just someone showing raw footage, but you have either someone on the screen, down there or over there. You have, random noises, you have graphics around. Basically, you are adding your own unique flavor or your own unique experience to the game, so it's not just the gameplay itself. And that is the common defense for the Let's Play streaming audience. But, as we talked about last time, this argument doesn't hold as much water depending upon who you talk to. And there are people out there who view Let's Plays and streaming as outright piracy of their work. And we have seen examples of this, especially from visual novel or single player driven linear games. Stuff like Gone Home, Dear Esther. Again, you can insert a visual novel game here. These are titles where the player themselves is not really participating in the game in the sense that they are providing their own unique spin or commentary. 10 people who play Gone Home are going to have the exact same path through it. They're going to explore the exact same places in the exact same order. And this is where, again, this defense of fair use becomes very tricky. But again, the defenders will say that if those 10 different people say, have 10 different experiences on their channel, maybe one person is making wacky noises, maybe another one is breaking things down or interacting with a chat, is that enough to be considered transformative? That's the essence of this debate here. And getting back to the issue with Campo Santo, I'm sure I just butchered that in Firewatch. They have it on their site saying that they allow everyone to stream their game. Feel free to make videos, screenshots, you name it. And of course, a lot of people call them out on basically saying, well, you said that, but why are you going after PewDiePie? And again, this is where things get very tricky. And like I said a few minutes ago, where this relationship or this murky relationship comes from. Because of the fact that there have not been any standards set when it comes to Let's Plays and the transformative factor, again, right now, everything goes. And it scares a lot of people, especially on the YouTube and Twitch side, if any standards become set. Because as we've said before, especially with issues like video game unions or defining what a video game is, or as we said a few days ago, what a game journalist is, no matter what standards you set, there will always be good people who will fall under that bar. Now, I know, of course, with that said, a few of you will probably be commenting in a minute saying, well, good riddance if they fail that. But again, whenever you have these issues and when you have this kind of control, it can lead to some very dangerous precedents being set. If a developer says, oh, only so-and-so, let's say males 18 to 30 are allowed to stream my game, or someone saying if you're a certain religious background, or if you say something we don't like, we can throw a DMCA strike on you because it's our game, this can become a very dangerous issue. And there is a very big issue with an indie game, I think it was in August or July, with someone who allegedly worked on the game as a freelancer, or I think freelancer temporary, basically issuing DMCA strikes to everyone who was trying to stream this game, even though they weren't a part of the company. And again, the DMCA strike is essentially the nuclear option. And right now, when it comes to game developers trying to protect their work like this, it is the only option. And as we've said before, one of the big problems when it comes to fair use and all of that is that when the courts have yet to make any deciding factors. The industry itself has been policing things for a very long time and relying on the original standards set by the DMCA, I think when it was enacted in the, I want to say late 90s, early thousands. I don't know off the top of my head. But as we've said before, the game industry moves so rapidly that it's hard for something even a year ago to remain relevant today. I mean, we have seen rapid advances over the last decade, let alone the last few years, with the rise of early access, crowdfunding, and the like. But here is the tricky question. Again, depending upon your background watching this, I'm sure we're going to get different answers. Do you think there should be a standard set for fair use? I mean, hell, wait, we can even go one step further, or one step back, I should say. Should fair use be a defense of Let's Player streamers? Because even that, as I said a few minutes ago, has a major debate associated to it. Because, as we've said, if I'm playing a game like XCOM, for instance, and I am building, custom characters, I have my own strategy, I'm walking through the details, is that transformative? But in the same breath, if someone is playing a game like Five Nights at Freddy's or Gone Home, and it's just them, making random noises or just showing the game footage while they're talking, would that be considered it? And then, like I said, the second question is, if we agree that Let's Plays and streams can be counted under fair use, then where is the bar for that? Is it a matter of having someone in the corner or any one of those spots talking? Is it being able to hear someone else talking over the game footage? Now, with that said, though, I can throw even yet another wrinkle into this discussion. What about videos that just show the game with no commentary whatsoever? Because again, there are people, and even I tend to agree that I don't consider that fair use. Because if it's just you showing cutscenes or you just showing gameplay with nothing over it, are you really transforming that content? Because again, once we set a standard, that's it. You can't, undo a standard once we all agree to it. Hence why there's always that bit of apprehension when it comes to doing this. And we're about 10 minutes into this, or 11 minutes in, and I can tell you we're not going to be solving this in this video, let alone if I talk for another 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to wrap things up here for today. Again, to summarize, fair use is a major part and has become the foundation for just about every big name video game let's player or streamer here on YouTube, Twitch, and the like. And because of that, it has become a very symbiotic relationship between developer and YouTuber. The YouTuber gets a game that they can stream or show footage of, while the game developer gets, of course, the free publicity. But again, it comes back to that argument over ownership. As we've said before on the previous talk on fair use, when you get a copyright or ownership of a product, you still have a transfer of ownership of said copy. Meaning, yes, you own the copyright for a car, a furniture, painting supplies, whatever, but the second I buy that, or the second the consumer buys it, that copy is owned by them. If I buy a Ford or Toyota or pick any car manufacturer, I buy a brand new one, I drive off the lot, they can't come to me and say, we would like that car back, or we don't want you to buy it, can we have it back? No, it's my copy. And this is where things are, again, very tricky with fair use. Because in many cases, the YouTuber or streamer is buying the copy of this game, or they are getting a press key. So the ownership of that copy is transferred to the YouTuber or streamer. And then it goes up to this: what rights or what control do you have over that copy? And again, we could easily segue this into the whole can you trade or sell digital key debate, but we'll be here for another 20 minutes easily if we do that. But again, that's just yet another layer on top of this debate, and I'm really curious to hear what you folks think about this. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's Industry Insight. If you're new, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Let me know if you have any suggestions for future vlogs. But otherwise, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and come back nightly around 10 Eastern for regular game streams. For a collection of my writings as well as weekly podcasts on game design topics, be sure to check out game-wisdom.com. You can follow me on Twitter at GWBycer for updates from me throughout the day. And be sure to check out our Patreon campaign. You can find us on Patreon under GWBycer for ways to not only support Game Wisdom, but you can get access to our Discord channel where we'll talk game design topics, as well as allow you to vote for our Saturday night grab bag stream. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the next video here on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel.